This is the Midway region, a Pokemon region based on the Midwest. And in today's video, we're going to be continuing our look at each of the Pokemon types. And today's type is the Steel type. We only have 4 types left to see after this video. The Ice type, which is next. Then either Rock or Normal, depending on what you choose in the comments below. And then lastly, the Dragon type. With all of that being said, let's get into the Steel types you can find in the Midway region. In the grasslands and the rugged areas in the Midway region, you can find the Pokemon known as Hellmetal. Hellmetal is a fighting and Steel type, and are born with heavy helmets for them to train with. Throughout their lives, they get faster and stronger at an exponential rate, and eventually, with enough training, they will be ready to evolve. This is Bullwreck, a fighting and Steel type, and the Maverick Pokemon. Bullwreck use their strength to tear down any walls that stand in their way. Bullwreck can be a powerful and loyal partner, as well as a reliable guardian for a farm field. Both Hellmetal and Bullwreck are based on the Minnesota Vikings, hence the classic Viking helmet trope, and the MSU Mavericks, which have a bull in their logo. If you are interested in learning more about Hellmetal and Bullwreck, you can watch the video about turning sports teams into Pokemon, as well as the redesigning Midway Pokemon video, as it has Bullwreck getting its new design there. This next Pokemon I've been waiting to show off for a long time. Found in the suburbs of the Midway region is the Pokemon Tangela. Now I'm sure you've noticed, this isn't your regular Tangela. This is Midwayan Tangela, a pure normal type. This form of Tangela is much bigger and much heavier than its Cantonian counterpart, with its vines now being made of twine and are a lot more dense and intertwined. Haha. After some training and learning the move Heavy Slam, Tangela will be ready to evolve. This is Twinegrowth, a normal and Steel type. After evolving, the twine that makes up Twinegrowth's body has become so heavy and so tightly wound that it now resembles rebar. Those unfortunate enough to get caught by a Twinegrowth won't have the strength to break its metallic grasp. However, it is rather slow. Both Twinegrowth and Tangela are based on the largest ball of twine, found in Kansas. However, the top 3 largest balls of twine are all found in the Midwest, so it seems to fit. What are the people in the Midwest doing with their twine? Twinegrowth also has the ability to access urban and rural forms, but we will save that one for later. A popular Steel type that you can find in the Midway region is Rabizwei. Rabizwei is a fairy and Steel type. Rabizwei shares rivalry with a Pokemon known as Gachui. They use their sword-like ear to chop away at its opponents, as well as cut away Gachui's sticky gum-like poison. Having both a Rabizwei and a Gachui on your team, and then some training of course, they will both evolve. This is Rabizwei, a fairy and Steel type. Rabizwei are courageous and brave warriors that use their sword-like ear to defeat great evil. Their rival, and Gachui's evolution, Gitchicomp, are their main opponent, but they will try their hardest to do things the right way. Rabizwei and Rabizwei take inspiration from Manabush, a rabbit that comes from Menominee mythos that fights evil spirits, those evil spirits being Gachui and Gitchicomp. If you want to learn more about Rabizwei and Rabizwei, you can check out the video on fairy types found in the Midway by Types playlist. Also, if you want to learn more about Gachui and Gitchicomp, check out their video on either poison types or ghost types. Alright. Enough with the content pushing. Let's keep this going. I have a character I would like to introduce. This is Marigold Fortier. She can be found all over the suburban zone in the Midway region, because she manages the waste removal in the region. Essentially, she's a garbage lady, but she looks upon her job fondly, as she wants the world to know how important of a job it is to keep the region clean. Not only is she a staple for the community in the Midway region, she's also a very strong trainer. And I should also mention, she is Midway's very own Steel-type gym leader. When Mary is off work, you can challenge her to a battle, and she will give you a classic one-on-one gym battle. But challenge Mary to a battle when she's on her route, and you will have a unique battle experience. Let's take a look. The battle begins, and of course, this is a double battle. The battle takes place on the street, blocked off by her trash picker team, as well as garbage bags and cones. During this battle, you might be trying to get hits off on Mary's Pokemon. However, something keeps coming up that's making it more difficult. Let's say you manage to set up some type of terrain effect, such as grassy terrain or toxic spikes. A trash picker will go through the battlefield.
Can't have this debris making the field dirty.
And they will remove the effect. Perhaps you try and give her Pokemon a status effect.
Hey Mary, look what I found.
And boom, a paralyzed heal for paralysis, a burn heal for burn, and anything else she might need. Mary's stats get lowered. Suddenly a trash pollution like haze comes across the battlefield to reset all stats. Maybe if she's lucky, they might even find a potion or two. With all the stuff Mary's crew managed to find, it really makes the phrase, "one man's trash is another man's treasure," really come true. Do you think you could defeat Mary, despite her crew giving her an edge? And if you manage to defeat Mary, she will reward you with the garbage badge and will make you one step closer to the Pokemon League. Liking this video and subscribing to this channel will also make you one step closer to the Pokemon League. Tangela isn't the only Pokemon in Midway to have a regional form. This is Varoom, a pure steel type. In the Midway region, Varoom is built different. It takes on just the steel typing, but with its big block that takes up most of its body, it can actually move surprisingly quickly. It is thought that this form of Varoom is actually the original form, but that might just be bias, as there really isn't any evidence for it. When you train a Varoom, it will evolve into Varoom. But that's not how a Midwayan Varoom evolves. If you give a Varoom either a peat block or an electrolyzer, it will evolve into two unique forms. With the peat block, it will evolve into Midwayan Varoom, off-road form, and a steel and ground type. This form of Varoom has massive tires and a massive engine that allows it to traverse any type of terrain. They love to rush full speed through the mud and crash into each other. With the electrolyzer, Varoom will evolve into Midwayan Varoom, EV form, and a steel and electric type. This form of Varoom has turned its engine into a large battery for it to store energy. It can completely disconnect its wheels from its body with magnetism, and even with them disconnected, it can still move. These two forms of Varoom are based on, generally speaking, two types of vehicles: gasoline/diesel combustion engines and electric vehicles. Also, EV form takes some sort of inspiration from go-karts, because go-karts are fun. Originally, Midway Varoom and Varoom came from the turning sports teams in the Pokemon video, and the Indy 500 specifically. Alright, I have 3 more steel types introduced, one of them being brand new, and of course, the Twinegrowth urban and rural forms. This is Bitsimmer, a fire and steel type. Bitsimmer love to eat food, but especially love to eat metal, specifically to help them build their outer shells. Those in the food business have trained their Bitsimmer to drop their food out of their mouths when it is done cooking. You might think it's gross, but Bitsimmer have an even temperature throughout their whole mouth. Bitsimmer have the ability known as Pyro Palate, which makes any biting attack have a chance to burn. Alright, next up of the 3 is another Pokemon that comes from the turning sports teams in the Pokemon video. This is Magisteel, a pure steel type and the regal Pokemon. Magisteel were bred over time to have their coats become closer and closer to gold, to the point where it actually became gold and gained the steel typing. Magisteel will use the gold to attack and defend, but it does not like to get dirty. Magisteel are specifically based on the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel, but also the Cleveland Cavaliers, since it is a sport team. Alright, to the last of the 3. If you have watched any of my shorts by the time this video comes out, you might have actually seen this one, but it's time to officially introduce it. This is Fidloader, a pure steel type and the Boomloader Pokemon. Fidloader use their boom-like claw and arm to combat one another, but are actually good at reaching things in high places. Their arms look rather stiff, but are surprisingly flexible. Fidloader is based on the Fiddler Crab, which I was surprised to learn are actually found in the Midwest. And a knuckle boom loader, a machine used to move and cut logs from a tree. Alright, if you made it this far, you must be interested in the urban and rural forms that Twinegrowth can become. Bring Twinegrowth to Fort Cheetah Buff in the rural zone, and it will be able to change. This is rural Twinegrowth, a pure normal type. This form of Twinegrowth has become much faster than its original form, and without all of its weight, it can now learn moves like extreme speed and fake out. Bring Twinegrowth to Rust Town in the urban zone, and it will be able to change. This is Urban Twinegrowth, a pure steel type. This form of Twinegrowth has foregone its normal typing and takes on the form of steel beams. It is even heavier now than its original form. Alright, that's it for today. So let me know in the comments which steel type you were adding to your party, as well as what steel type you might want to change. That being said, if you have any ideas for Midway Pokemon, let me know in the comments below. And remember, keep those running shoes on, trainers.